Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Steven, and today I have another magic review for you. This is one of my favorite mentalism effects that I perform in front of groups all the time, and it's called the ESP board. And this is what it looks like. You can get it from a lot of different magic providers. I don't even remember where I got this one. I picked up several because I'm working on changing the look of the layout a little bit to eliminate the numbers. More on that in a moment. But basically, what this effect is it uses the standard 5 ESP symbols on the cards: the circle, the plus, the waves, the square, and the star. And these cards are removable. I won't get into the removing of them all. You know what cards look like. But what you'll do is on one side, you'll have the symbols lined up, but the audience won't see them. And then you'll let the audiences choose. You'll pull the cards out, and the cards can be freely handled. The audience will choose which number to put their card next to. And in the end, no matter where they place their symbols, when you turn it around, all of the symbols match next to each other. It's extremely powerful and a simple method. In fact, it's not even worth going into. It's pretty common out there, and you can see it on there are lots of YouTube videos revealing how it's done. I never really feel good doing that with some of these commercial effects, but it's easy to do. In fact, I would say that it requires no instruction. If you order one of these from whatever source you get it from, when it arrives, you'll discover the method. So this is really powerful. It's something I recommend checking out. Who is it good for? Well, I think it's really good for parlor. If you have a group of people in front of you, seated ideally, that's where I've always performed it. It goes over very well. I think it would be hard to do for walk around magic. There may be small versions of them. I never really looked, but I think this is perfect for a small group in a parlor setting. It's very interactive. Speaking of which, let's get right into the pros. First, number one pro is it is very interactive. This is something where the audience members get to decide where the symbols are going to go. They get to handle the cards, and there's numerous ways you can do this effect. Your imagination will just probably give you some more methods and presentation styles that you can use. But I love the fact that it's interactive. It's also very easy. This is extremely simple to do. There are no sleights. There is really nothing to memorize. It is about as self-working as an effect can get. So that's a major plus. And the other is I think it's very visual when you have as I shake the camera here, when you have these cards lined up and they see the numbers very clearly. It's a very visual effect, right? I think it brings everybody in. And in the end, this is extremely visual right here when they can see the symbols matching and they know they made all the choices. And one group of symbols remained here behind these numbers the entire time that you never moved, but let the audience pick which symbol would go where. That's one way to accomplish the effect. I've seen many different ways that performers do this, so you don't necessarily have to do it that way. Some people hand out the cards, some people don't hand out the cards. What are some of the cons, though? There are always a few drawbacks. I don't think there are very many with this effect. Maybe, well, the obvious one for me would be angles. Angles, it's very angle sensitive. If you're in front of a group and you're paying close attention to the board, you're fine, but nobody can really be behind you or in this area, sort of back here, because the trick would be over. The second one is the premise. I like to do, if I'm doing mentalism, I love to have effects where it's everyday objects. The center tear comes to mind. You have a pencil and a paper, and somebody writes down a thought, and you're able to divine that thought. And those are everyday objects. I think that's about as close as true mentalism would be and what it would look like. This is not, right? This is not something that people tend to carry around. ESP cards might arouse a little bit of suspicion, and now you've got plexiglass and you've got these bands that hold the cards in there. There has to be a premise for it. So that may be sort of a drawback as well. And the other that I alluded to earlier, the only other sort of con that I can think of with this effect is it's the numbers. And I receive feedback from other performers when I perform this in front of other magicians, and mentalists, they pointed out that room for improvement might be these numbers, that they take away a little bit from the idea of intuition or mentalism or mind reading. And that if there was a way to eliminate the numbers, it might feel more powerful. So I am working on that. That's why I said I picked up a couple of these secondhand from people who were selling them, and I'm going to work on ripping out the numbers or covering them maybe with colored cards that I have, so maybe people can call out the color instead of the number. I'm not very artistic, so I don't know how that's going to go over, but I'm working on that. But I thought I'd mention that as a possible con. But great effect, lots of different versions you can do. Uh, and the other thing that I guess I would add as a pro that I wanted to mention at the beginning, is this effect can take up a little bit of time, some quality time with your audience. And sometimes if we have to perform for a certain amount of time, we can run out of effects pretty quickly. This, you can easily get a solid 8 to 10 minutes with setting it up, explaining it, maybe having a story and a little bit of a description of each symbol, and interaction with the audience where they handle the cards and they place them, and you can draw out the reveal. And I think you can get a solid amount of time out of this effect that doesn't feel like it's dragging. So that's another bonus pro that I'll give. But that's ESP board. I think you're going to like it. I'll end this video with a performance of ESP board that I did at the McBride Magic and Mystery School in front of other mentalists. So I'll turn that over to you now. Enjoy.
Our next performer is a magician of the mind who explores the space where intuition meets illusion. He has performed at the Ritz-Carlton in Pentagon City, weekly at the Four Seasons in Denver, and once even amazed a JetBlue crew somewhere over Kansas at 30,000 feet. Today, he'll invite you to look inward and discover just how powerful your own intuition can be. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Stephen Starr.
Well, it's really great to be here today. And I've known all of you for some time, some of you for a long time. Some of you I've known for 10 years or more, and others I've only met this week. But yet I feel a strong connection with each one of you, even those I just met. And I think it's because we're all drawn like a magnet to be in this room at this time. And we speak the same language, we have the same interests. And I'd like to take this connection that we have to the next level today. And what will be happening will not be coming from me, but the power will actually come from each of you. And we'll draw from that power that I mentioned in the opening circle today that I feel when I enter the house. And each of you nodded in agreement, so I know that you're already halfway there. So we're going to build upon that today. And I think you're going to find it very interesting and very powerful. And I'd like to remind you of something that a great magician said to me recently, and has been a great influence in my life, that you can look at what happens next as a puzzle to be solved or a mystery to be experienced. Today, as we go forward, we're going to be using for our ancient ritual the ESP cards. Now, we talked about the ESP cards earlier in the week, so I'm not going to go into a whole history and explanation of the cards, but I think a brief introduction is in order. We have the circle. This is where everything begins and ends. This is connection. You might think of it as the circle that we all join together in every day, where we share our innermost thoughts and our feelings and prepare for the activities for the rest of the day. We've already lived this, haven't we? And we have the cross, a decision, two paths, one choice. It's kind of like your brain flipping a coin and calling it wisdom. Or we have the waves, right? Energy in motion, kind of like the brain's Wi-Fi, isn't it? Sometimes it's 5G, others dial-up. And the square, order, representing that even chaos has boundaries. And this is where your inner control freak goes to feel safe. And lastly, we have the star, that flash of insight, where your brain finally catches up, or at least pretends it did. The ESP cards. felt that, didn't you? But I don't want to touch the cards anymore. So I'm going to hand them off to one of you and ask if that person would join me on stage. Napoleon, would you be so kind as to join me up?
Yeah, thank you.
Round of applause for Napoleon, everyone. Now, I chose Napoleon. I could have chosen anyone, but I wanted to start with someone I know I have a strong connection with. We spent quite a bit of time the other night as we prepared to watch The Mentalist. We both accidentally showed up very early, and we had a moment to chat. We talked for probably a half hour before the show. I think we applauded the loudest, cheered the loudest in the room. I felt we did. Yeah. We have a connection. We both lived in Europe for a while. We connected over that. And so I could have chosen anyone, but I'd like to start here with a connection that Napoleon and I share. We just clicked. And use that as a bridge to reach all of you to take this connection to the next level. So Napoleon, would you please take these cards? And it's important throughout this that we do not look anymore at the symbols. That would be too easy. That's using the five senses, which we do all the time. We're going to use our intuition to try to ascertain what's on each card without looking. So Napoleon, if you would, please give them a mix face down. And when you're satisfied with that, I'll ask you to choose at random 5 different people in the audience and hand them a card. Now, when you receive your card, please do not look at it. That's too easy. Take the card, stand in place. You can remain at your seats, but standing, and press the card to your chest. And I'd like you to think and feel what the card is without using your senses. And I believe you'll be surprised at what you find. You may proceed when ready to randomly hand out 5 cards, please. And while you're doing that, something's been waiting here for you. On this board are 5 identical cards to those that are being passed out. The ESP cards, with which you're quite familiar by now. And next to each is a number. And if you have your cards, if you would, please stand in place. Take a moment and really try to envision your card. Really do this. I'd like to see if this connection that I believe we have is stronger than just the words that we share in the circle. I believe it is, and we're going to prove that today. Next to each number is one of the cards, but you don't know which one is next to which number. I want to see if you can visualize the card, and in a moment, Napoleon will choose you each one by one to name a number, and we will place that card next to the number, behind the number, and see if we have a match by the name. And trust your instincts. Napoleon, you may choose anyone at random you wish. You determine your order.
Dan, what number?
What number would you like?
Number 1.
Number 1. May I have your card? There you go. Number 1 is done. Choose another.
Sheldon.
Number 3.
Number 3?
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Would you like to change your mind, Sheldon?
No.
Very well. It's already done. Choose another.
Steve.
Steve.
4.
4 it is. Matt. Oops. Sometimes the cards have their own ideas. Very well.
Alfredo.
2, of course.
2 it is. This time the correct direction. And I'm sorry, there's one more card. You don't have a choice. However, if you come to lunch with our group, lunch is on you. Last but not least. You may have a seat.
Thank you.
And I've asked everyone to remain silent to preserve the spirit in this room as Napoleon has a seat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, if you've done this correctly, something truly remarkable should have happened. And this proves 2 things. Your mind was more powerful, your intuition was more powerful than your mind, and that our circle is connected much more deeper than kind words. Thank you for being here. I'm Stephen Stubbs.